All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Stallone-Obaraemi Samuel, and you are welcome to the Positive Alteration School podcast. Now, this podcast will focus on behavioral leadership communication. These three words, they mean a lot. Now, before we go to today's episode, I need to tell you something about my guest. We met and then we've had an amazing conversation. Is so knowledgeable. Now, let me tell you something. She's a coach. She didn't stumble into coaching. She was pushed into coaching by life. I mean, hard. And then she took things in her stride and she started going. I can say she's one of those women that we can say she came, she saw, and she is conquering. Today, we're going to learn from her tenacity, her resilience, how she's able to turn her situation, what some would call her pain to the gain of other people. Her name is Bodrogi. I'll take that again. Bernadett Bodrogi. Yes. She says it's a difficult name, but I don't think it's a difficult name. I think I really need to learn it. She became a mom and her mother struggled. Doctors said there is no way with what your daughter is going through. You're going to hear the story from her, but she did not give up. Now, Bernadette did not cry. She did not give up. She studied, she researched, she built her own from nothing. Can you hear me now? Can you see me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Oh
yeah,
my
but
goodness.
yeah, so
I've failed at some point, yeah?
yeah, a lot. Yeah.
All right, but I'm sure it's something we can. I hope that the network really is favorable. Not sure why it's happening now. So I'm just going to go on. We will take care of all of that. So, like I was saying, off the back of that journey, Benedict built Soul Harmony. It's a life and relationship coaching practice, and later on, an entire international accredited coaching academy in Portsmouth, UK. This is 17 years, hundreds of lives touched with a clear mission to help people find their way back to themselves. So I introduce to you Bernadette Bodrogi. Welcome.
Thank you for the kind invitation.
So tell us, who is Bernadette? I know I've touched that a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, I'm a Hungarian woman and I was grown up on the beautiful coast of Lake Balaton. So I always say I am a very, very simple girl with rural values, and my life was not so easy. But how, the English says, when we get lemon, we always make lemonade from it.
Morning. Fantastic. So, Bernadette, you have sat with people at their lowest level. What does rock bottom actually look like from where you're sitting? And what behavior tells you that someone is finally ready to change?
Well, yeah, if we are talking about adult people, because I have a lot of experiences with working with kids, and youngsters. If we are talking about adult people, when someone would like to change something in their lives, the most thing is to face with our limiting beliefs and to make a very, very deep self-reflection. This is the first point. We need to know exactly who we are, what our boundaries are, what skills we have, or if we don't have all the skills, what we need to achieve our goals, what we need to gather, what we need to study. Now, it can be at the beginning difficult to say who wants to develop, but I always work only with those people who make decision make decision about breaking old patterns, make decision about changing paradigms, limiting beliefs, make decision of cope with self-sabotage. So always the first thing is to know who we are, what our aim is, and then to make uncomfortable action in daily basis. Now, when someone book a one-on-one appointment with me for a first conversation, this is a discovery call. Of course, we always speak about the aim of the issue. As soon as I understand what is the root of the issue, I'm able to provide a step-by-step action plan. And I always communicate it clearly. And when someone really wants to make a change in their lives, they will do the work. Because without putting into our life enough work, there is no anything what we could achieve. The other expression, I know it is old maybe, yeah, but no pain, no gain. It is true for everything in the life.
Yeah, yeah. That is fast. That is really correct. No pain, no gain. It sounds like it's an old expression, but it is evergreen. Okay. Yes. Today people say work smart, but even the working smart, you would need to put in the work. I think the expression is simply if you do not put the work, do not express the reward. Do not expect the reward. Yes. Now before we go way into your coaching and your practice and how you help people, let me maybe I jumped too deep. Let me come back. Let me bring us back a little bit. Now,
Okay.
before people knew you as a coach, as a trainer, as a founder, how would you describe yourself as a human being when no one is watching?
Okay, so yeah, I need to go back to my childhood because it strongly determines who I am today. Yeah.
Okay.
I was a broken child with the belief that I need to work hard to get any love. And I've already met a lot of people who have the same kind of issues. So for being loved, I always wanted to compensate. It is never a conscious decision. We do it unconsciously. The good thing is when we are able to recognize this pattern, because that is the only way that we can break it. Yeah. But of course, for this, again, we need to make a we need to deeply see ourselves, who we are, and we need to kind of analyze ourselves. So, from a broken child, I became an office manager as a professional. I really love my job. Then I became a mother. My only daughter is 24 years old now. And when she turned 4, she lost her speaking ability. So I left behind my career. I loved it, but I left it behind and I started to focus only my daughter to teach her to figure out how I could help her to speak again. Because we are Hungarians. Back then in Hungary 20 years ago, we didn't really have so high experts who we can find in the UK now. Because if we are thinking of only maybe neurodiversity, in the UK there are much more neurodiverse people than in Hungary still. So in my country, we couldn't really get proper help. So experts were not able to diagnose properly my daughter. Therefore, they couldn't provide me the best developing methods. So I needed to educate myself. I really wanted to know the root of the issue. This is where everything started. And as soon as I found the issue, I discovered that my daughter has Asperger's syndrome, which is one type of autism. And also later on, I needed to discover that she also has dyspraxia. Dyspraxia affects the big and small movements of the body depending on the condition. Luckily, for my daughter, it is not so serious, but still, she has issues with it. And also she has dyslexia and ADHD as well. So everything together, which of course affect her life very deeply. Now, how I was educating myself and gathering information, of course, I started to work out the developing methodology tailored to my own daughter. And as soon as the results started to come, all the other people around us could see them and they started to ask first my help for their children.
Okay.
And then while I started to work with the parents, we went into deeper and deeper conversations. So this is how I started to coach adult people. While I was working with the children, it was not about my one-to-one working with a child, but I started to educate the parents. And first, I always give a direction, and this is what I do still. I always want to give a direction what kind of examination would be useful, an autism maybe, or an ADHD, or whatever. Because as soon as we know exactly, as soon as a child gets a diagnosis, the child can get more and more support in the kindergarten, in the school, at the college, grammar school, and also at the university as well. So diagnosis is a very, very important thing. So, and also I was told that my daughter will never be able to read, neither write. And just 8 years ago, she couldn't even speak in English. And now she speaks fluently English. She's studying at creative writing course at Portsmouth University. And because she's on a sandwich year, she's going to Canada for an academic year to study film, kind of film industry related courses, because she wants to become film director and scriptwriter. So that's why she's going to Canada for an academic year. Now, the reason why now she's able to do everything like this is because I had been delivering for her constantly trainings. This is how I call it, trainings, which are developing methods. I delivered her short trainings. Short means some months, and long, very long-term trainings, which means more years. And in the meantime, I always gave her explanation. So I never asked anything from her, like, please do it. First, I always give her explanation why it is essential for her, why it can be beneficial for her. So then this is how everything started. And while I am working with anyone regarding any kind of issues, my aim is always to dig deep, find the root of the cause. Yeah.
Okay.
And we go from there only if that person is willing to work.
The work. Okay.
Otherwise, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is encouraging to see how far you have come with your daughter. But I'm curious, was there a time that uncertainty hit you? Was there a time? Was there a time when were you ever sure that your daughter was going to speak, or did you just say, "I'm going to try things out"?
No, I was told that she will stay nonverbal. So she totally lost her speaking ability when she was 4 years old. And I started to study and I started to work out all sorts of developing methodologies. And I made it as a fun for her. So she couldn't feel that these were developing tasks, but it was like a fun for her. So she really enjoyed those. Then she was able to speak again, but not totally fluently. Then someone passed away in our family, a close family member. And as soon as she realized that she won't be able to meet that person, she lost her speaking ability totally. I mean, it was worse than before. She was not able to even say a word. She was
Okay,
totally nonverbal.
yeah, so she lost her speaking ability twice.
Before the elementary school, because in Hungary the elementary school starts in age of 6.
6. Okay, are you saying that some events could happen and could cause an autistic child to lose
Yes,
their speech?
definitely.
You tell me more about it.
So regarding my daughter, what happened was that in the kindergarten, she had 2 teachers, and one of them was just before retirement, but
Okay.
she was very, very tired all the time and she was anxious. So she was not in the best mental condition. And one day she lost her control totally, and she was abusing the children. Not just my daughter, but other children as well. So she was very loud. She physically touched the children in a bad way, in an aggressive way. And it caused such a big shock for my daughter that she was not able to speak. It was not just about speaking, because before that I had a very, very lively daughter. She was always happy. She wanted to socialize. She wanted to do everything. She wanted to play. And then all of a sudden, I cannot use another word. Maybe this is rude, but it was my reality. So all of a sudden, I got a veggie child. I know it is rude again, but really, she didn't do anything. She was just sitting. She didn't speak. She couldn't. She didn't want to do anything, neither with her hands. The only thing what she was willing to do is watching TV. And she was just sitting like a frozen baby doll, and that's it. So this is where we started our journey together.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what behavior? I'm really interested in this story. Like you and I have had a conversation before. Now, I have an autistic son, and when I have these conversations about neurodiverse children or people, I get really interested in it. I used to be, like most people, I used to be in that space where if you say anything about neurodiversity, well, I knew very little about it. Not like I know much, I know a lot now, but I am a lot more informed than I was
Mhm.
before I figured that my son was neurodiverse now, and that's why this conversation really gets to me. Now, what behaviors helped you to adapt when you, in this case, you said your son, my son or your daughter, my son in this case lost his speaking abilities at I think about 18 months because 18 months to 2 years because we know he had started saying things. If I say phrases, he's going to complete them and on and on. But suddenly he stopped, and even when I'd say those phrases, he would get upset because he didn't
Yeah.
want to complete them. And then I didn't know it was steaming, but I saw all the characteristics. I did our research, and we went from denial to anger to accepting that that's
Mhm.
where this is. It's quite interesting when I get involved in conversations like this. I want to learn as much as possible, and I know that there are people out there that want to learn as much as possible. My question: what behaviors helped you to adapt in the face of all of this? Because now you're telling the story, you're way ahead, and so you're calm, you're telling the story. But I'm sure at that time you felt some agitation, some dissonance, some worry inside of you. How did you deal with all of that and then put a plan together?
Well, yes, I was worrying a lot, of course. I was scared. I didn't know what I should do. I didn't know the next step. The worst thing was in this whole situation that I couldn't get proper support. There was no one who told me, okay, now I know exactly what we could do together to help you and your daughter, okay? And I remember once I even fainted in the kitchen floor after I got a diagnosis. When we were told that my daughter won't be able to learn how to write, neither how to read, and that was a point when we arrived home and I collapsed on the kitchen floor. After 2 days migraine due to
Yeah.
stress, this is what happened. The only thing what helped me out of this situation, I made a decision. My decision was by her age of 18, my daughter will have all the skills for being able to live alone without me. My biggest fear was if anything happens with me, who could develop her from the family? No one, at least in our family. I was not so lucky to get proper support regarding my daughter. So my aim was always to give her enough knowledge to develop her skills, to make her strong enough for being able to live independently. I promised to myself that by her 18th birthday, she will have every knowledge how to live alone, how to clean a property, how to cook. Even I promised myself that I will help her to get a profession. And we've done it. Apart from my decision, but I mean, this decision was like a mission for me. So every morning I woke up, it was my aim. Every evening I went to bed before I fell asleep, I thought of my decision and I made, I started to imagine the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
That she's happy, she's independent. So, and also probably in case of my situation, maybe it comes from the strength what I learned from my stepfather, because he is a very, very strong character. And he showed me a very good example. When someone makes decision about something, we are able to do that. We do the work every day. So I think I just done the work
You made the
every day.
decision. Yes.
Yeah, I made the decision. The other difficult part of this was that I needed to leave behind my career, what I really loved. As a result of that, I lost my good income. I lost my career. And this is, it can be a turning point for most of the parents who have special needs children, because I think we need a huge courage to leave behind something, to leave behind a career, what we had been working for so hard and what we could enjoy so much, and where our good income could come. But I also gave the question for myself, okay, so if I choose my daughter, even if I couldn't know in advance that my plan and hard work will pay off or not. As all the experts told me that my daughter Rebecca won't be able to speak again, she won't be able to live an independent life. So everyone around me constantly told this. But in my soul, deeply in my soul, I just decided, oh, we do the work and we see where we go in 18 years' time. Yeah, or in 15 years' time, whatever. The only thing I knew that it will be a very, very hard and very long journey. And
Okay.
it was.
Yes. The thing I've taken from you is that one, you decided,
Yeah.
you knew the results you wanted, but whether it was going to happen or not, you were not sure, but
No,
you were
no.
determined to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
exactly.
So for people out there, whether you have a neurodiverse child, even if you have neurotypical children, like you said, Bernadette, one of the things you said was you had a goal, a clear picture. This girl would become a woman that takes care of herself at age 18. She would have a career. I would help her to do that, to make sure she has a career. She can take care of herself. Those are big goals. You had them clearly. And then you had
Yeah.
small steps on forward. It means that whatever we want to achieve today, tomorrow is not guaranteed, but you can
Mhm.
control your response. You can control what you are going to do. You can be
Yeah.
disciplined to take the steps and then allow tomorrow to play out. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting from this. Now, for parents with neurodiverse children or that deal with people with
Yeah.
neurodiversity, neurodiversity changes people and the way they process the world. They see the world differently. That's what I've learned. They see the world differently.
Yeah.
My son, there are things my son would do effortlessly, and I'd ask myself, how is he able to do that at that age effortlessly? So they see the world differently. Now, what is the most damaging communication mistake that you see adults make with neurodiverse children? I mean, you have to communicate with them, but what's the mistake people will make?
If we are talking about family members, when there is a child or there are more children in the same family, every single family member should work together toward one goal,
Right?
which is about supporting developing that child. It requires a system. It requires boundaries for that child or for those children. I think the biggest mistake is when if we are talking about family members or parents, that we all know how busy our life is. And yes, by the time we arrive home, we are just totally drained emotionally, mentally, many times physically. Now, the biggest mistake is then to sit down, grab our phone, scrolling because we want to relax. And this is where the decision comes. I am the adult. I am the responsible for my own daughter, son, whoever. If I choose my phone, if I choose scrolling, if I choose reading newspaper, if I choose watching Netflix, instead of putting enough energy, effort, attention to my own child or children, what can I expect from others. I mean, from teachers, from other people around my own kids. If I am the responsible, I am using now very bad word, I am lazy to do the work. Yeah. Obviously, I am not lazy, just I am so tired. But
Mm.
yeah, we are adults. We have the ability to make decision. Yeah, don't we?
Yeah,
So
we
I
do.
think this is the biggest mistake that here is I would rather say this is lack of communication. The other mistake is when child, apart from any kind of issues, when an average child, yeah, doesn't get explanation about things. Because in my way of thinking, just because a child is a child, not an adult, that child is equal with me. Just I know more about this crazy world. So my responsibility is to give explanation and understanding to that child or to that youngster. Because as soon as they get understanding, which means I am not shouting, I am not giving commands and stuff. I try to get the child engaged with anything.
Yes, good.
So I think these are the two things.
Okay. So communication is very important. And what you've mentioned in terms of communication is that discipline is key. When we go to work, we do whatever we would need to do for the day. We get back as adults or parents, we are tired. But if you have a plan, then it's important that you stick to the plan. For instance, in my case, I won't lie to you. My biggest challenge is to get back home or after work. My boy, like I don't know if I told you last time we talked, he hardly gets tired. He has so much energy. So
Yeah.
sometimes the temptation is, all right, let him go to the sitting room and let him watch TV. But inside me, I feel this guilt to say, well, he's not supposed to be sitting down to watch TV, and I need to interact with him. Other people in the house need to interact with him, but you get to see that other people are tired, but he is not tired. So you feel like, okay, what's going to keep him engaged? However, when we are able to say, all right, no TV, no phones in the house, everything shut down, and then he turns the house upside down, he really gets upset, he throws things around. If you're able to withstand that, I really call it, in a fund way, I call it, if you're able to withstand that, those 20 minutes of madness, he then calms down and it
Yeah.
begins to play with everyone, begins to connect. But those 20 minutes of madness, they're like 2 days of torture.
I see. I know what you mean. Yeah,
So you
I
just
know
say,
what
"Ah,
you mean.
am I really ready for this? Oh no, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. All right, go get TV. But it doesn't serve a good purpose. It doesn't serve him. So your message is parents need to have a plan, decide what they want to do in order to hit the goal they've set for their children, and be disciplined to follow that plan. It's not going to be easy. It's doable.
No, it's not easy because we need to break your arm patterns.
Mm.
We need to analyze our habits. And if we are thinking in a family, and we should, most of the time we need to kind of reschedule the family members' task during the day. The other thing is for having enough energy and that kind of well balanced mental and emotional condition, we need proper nutrition. And this is another key, especially when someone has a child with autism. Because, and not just autism, but it applies mainly for autistic people, that the nutrition, lack of proper nutrition affects their behavior very, very badly. But they don't really like eat everything. So it is very important to figure out what we put to the table. But again, what does it require? I need to plan in advance. Yeah. I need to go for shopping, not processed food. How I say, well, plastic, but obviously these are not plastic food, just so not processed food. Then I need to go home and I need to cook it. And it starts with planning again,
Yeah.
then action steps in daily basis. And it is hard. I know from
No.
experience it is hard.
Yeah, it is. Now, in your work, working with people, what help do people have available to them in the UK? People, parents, mothers, fathers, siblings, people, I'm talking about parents, let me not expand it. People who have autistic people or neurodiverse people that they care for? What help is available to them here in the UK?
I think this country, the UK, is just brilliant because here there's a very strong support system for special needs students. I just love it. And this system gave possibility to my own daughter as well. So I am just very grateful for this system and for this country. Because this support, for example, doesn't exist neither in my country. And this is something what I would like to introduce to our new prime minister, as Hungary now has a new prime minister,
Okay.
and I've already reached him out because my aim is to take home to my own country this system. Yeah. So the most beautiful thing what they can get here is called learning support assistant. Learning support assistant is a staff member in schools and at colleges who are in the lessons and who are helping students mainly regarding their studies, but of course it also contains or includes behavioral management. Also they get support for the emotional conditions, mental conditions. Even students can get one-to-one support, which means that there's a learning support assistant and this person is always sitting next to one student on every lesson.
Okay.
It can be maths or English or any other kind of subject, even in the mainstream. Yeah, and this is one of the best things. Now, how can a student get support,
Okay. I
support?
was going to ask you that.
Yeah. For being able to get that, parents need to request from the local council called Education Health Care Plan, in short version EHCP. I recommend to ask help from the school or college, because if a school or college start the process with the local council, normally it can be maybe shorter, in a shorter period of time. So when a student has this EHCP, this document from the local council, it shows exactly which kind of support the school or college has to provide to that student. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
When can someone get an EHCP? EHCP applies, I think, until age of 24 or 25. I should check it. But
Okay.
it supports a youngster until the age of 24 or 25 in this country. How is it possible to get it? We need a diagnosis for it. Now,
Okay.
this is the hard point because
Yeah.
you particularly, unfortunately, is very, very, very bad in time-wise about providing a diagnosis, which means that if you imagine that there's maybe 3 years old child, it's obvious that the child has issues. So parents request diagnosis. But many times families must wait for 2, 3, or even 4 years.
Yes.
And it makes me crazy, frankly, because that time frame, I mean, in that time frame, in that 3, 4 years time, these little kids should get the most support because of the developing method of our nervous system. So it is just crucial, and they do not get it. So, but back again to the original topic, diagnosis, then go to the local council requesting education, health, and care plan. Now, when someone turns 18, then because they are adults legally in this country, of course, so then they can apply for called personal independent payment, or short version PIP. And as soon as someone requests a document, because what we do, first we make a call, we call Department Work and Pension. Yeah. And we provide all the details, what they need, like our name, the address, and we get a 45 pages document.
Okay.
We also have a deadline. We need to fill in that document. And also we need to collect all the evidence as a proof that can show to Department Work and Pension that this particular person has this, and that issue.
Okay.
it can be very tricky to fill it in. What we can do, we can ask for help from the citizen advice, because people who are sitting there can help us. So we can just grab this document, we can walk in and we can ask for help and they can fill it in for us. Yeah. Also, it's possible that we need to ask a letter from the local GP. It is also possible that we need to pay for it. So regarding my daughter, we needed to pay £30 to get this letter from the GP. But for the PIP, we needed it and we sent it. So, and then we need to wait for the decision. But first, we send everything in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they will book an appointment. It can be via phone or it can be in person, and they will do an assessment.
Okay.
And while we are providing more and more information, there's a person from DWP who is making notes.
Yes.
And then they put everything together and then they make decision. Now,
Before you go further, before you go there, I'm enjoying this. Before you go further, so the question that's burning in my mind for
yeah,
someone who doesn't want to wait for 3, 4 years on the queue, 5 years, some people would say waited. You don't want to wait. What's the alternative?
yeah, the alternative option is to look for private practices,
Okay.
and they can provide much quicker diagnosis. However, this is the downside of it. We need to pay for it.
Yeah, when you pay for it, does
Now,
the NHS or does the government recognize it?
so it doesn't go to well, the document what we get, that is an official document,
Yeah.
and we pay for a private company with
Yeah.
private doctors and experts. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it is answers the question. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when you go to a private hospital or a private body of experts and they do the diagnosis and say, okay, your son or your child is autistic or any other neurodiverse challenge. This is a diagnosis. This is the result of the tests and everything has been done. Can you take that test to the government? Or can you take it to the
Yeah.
authorities? They accept it. Will they
Yeah.
recognize it?
Yeah, this is an official document. This
Okay.
is a totally 100% official document.
Because I've had sorry to jump in because
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with a GP who said if you go outside and get a diagnosis, unfortunately, doctors within the this is me saying I'm quoting doctors within
Mm.
the government or the NHS will not recognize it. So that's why people stick to waiting, and that's why I want this clarity. If I say I don't want to wait any longer, and I go outside and I get the result, you are saying it will be recognized.
Well, yeah, because I used to have students
Okay.
with the same experience that their diagnoses were accepted
Okay.
officially. However, for example, when someone's diagnosis is from another country, it is not always accepted.
All right.
They accepted my daughter's diagnosis, but for example, they didn't accept one of my friend's son diagnoses. They are from Turkey.
Okay.
So to be honest, I have no idea how they make decision which countries diagnosis they accept.
Okay. I see.
But that is a very good point, Salona, that you just mentioned, because I never met anyone who said this to me. However, you heard this from the GP, so I think it is always best before parents pay for a diagnosis to any kind of private company. It is always the best course of action to ask the local GP if that particular private practice, if they make the diagnosis, if the GP practice or NHS can accept it officially.
Yes. Okay.
This is a very, very good point.
Yes. It is because it has given me, for me, it has also given me some cause for worry. But you know,
And it is
you,
expensive. Yeah, it
yeah,
is expensive. £2,000, £1,500. I know it's expensive, so that is a very good point
mm,
to ask from the local GP.
yes. Now, I want to take you to another. We have limited time, but I want to take you somewhere else because I really want us to touch a bit of this. You are a Reiki master and an internationally accredited training provider. How do
Yes.
you help people in that space? I know you put all these experiences together, and you don't work. I do not, from what I see, I've dug a little bit into your what you do. It's you don't just deal with neurodiverse people alone. You
Mm.
help people in different aspects. So how do you help people as a personal life relationship coach?
Yes. So I needed to change my career, yeah, due to my daughter or due
Mm,
to my decision. And I decided to become a professional masseur therapist. And in the meantime, I was interested in the energy and also all sorts of healing options. Yeah. And this is how I decided to become a Reiki practitioner. And I was so successful in it. And the results were so great with my clients that then I decided to become a Reiki master. And so it provided me a lot of knowledge about our chakras, about our energy, and I need to make a connection between this and the different types of personalities
okay,
because I
interesting.
think it is very important who we are. So what I learned in 1995, very long time ago, about the four main personality types. I know there are different types of personality analysis, but in my practice, I use this one for which comes from Hippocrates back then.
Yes.
1,000 years ago, it started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so from people's communication style, how they move, how their home looks like, what kind of habits they have, I can roughly say their main personality type, yeah. And also because I know all the responsibilities of the chakras, the energy centers regarding our body, mind, and soul. As soon as I see a body, I can see which chakra, which energy center is not in balance because our body has a reaction for everything. So just a very short thing regarding heart chakra. I have issues with love. Maybe if I don't get enough love from people who I really love, but if I am giving constantly, probably I will have back pain between my shoulder blades. Even I can develop a bump. Yeah, this is the switch on button of the heart chakra. If I am not getting enough, but I am giving enough, I can even develop a bump between my shoulder blade area. And this is just one of the.
Are you serious?
I am totally serious. Or imagine, imagine that maybe which handed you are, right-handed or left-handed?
What do you think?
I don't know. I think you are right-handed. I have no
You're correct.
idea.
You're correct. I'm right-handed.
Yeah, right-handed. So, regards to right-handed people, this is a very common thing that when someone constantly is giving,
Mm.
giving, giving, but not get anything back. So if you are right-handed, you spiritually you are giving with your right hand and physically as well, by the way. And spiritually you are getting with your left one. But if you are not getting nearly anything, you are just giving, you will develop shoulder pain in your left shoulder, even pain in your arm, in your fingers. Yeah.
So you were going to say the right hand will get longer than the left.
Yeah. So this is
The
just
Bible
one
kidding.
thing. Now, yes, so because I also used to work a lot physically, I touched bodies because I also used to work a lot. So I have a lot of experiences how to work with bodies, soul, and mind. Yeah. That's why 3 years ago, I felt that I would like to pass my knowledge on people, heart-led people. It is very important
Yes.
who want to become authentic guiding light
Oh,
for others. We can
okay.
say life coaches.
Mm.
We can label it with anything.
Yes, I like something. There's something interesting on your site I read. It says you've had a breakup and feel yourself broken, but you know it's time to recover and build yourself. How do you help people that have gone through a breakup and they are wallowing in the pain and the aftermath of that?
Yeah, yeah. After a breakup, it is important if it was our decision or our ex-partner made decision about the breakup. Yeah. Now, first we need to accept that, again, patterns, we will need to break the patterns, and we also need to give time for ourselves for healing. It is very, very important. So, for example, if we were in a, I don't know, in a long relationship, 10, 15, 20 years relationship, the worst thing what we can do, we separate and we jump straight away into another relationship. It cannot work successfully. It cannot work because first we need to heal our wounds. We need to discover ourselves again, because if we come out of a long relationship, we were younger, we are not the same person who we were. We need to find ourselves again. We need to figure out what we really like in life. We need to set up our boundaries. And most of the time, people lose their power, they faith in themselves. And this is something what we also need to get back. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, who are the people you help? Who are the people? If somebody says, I've watched this, I have listened to this podcast, and Bernadette, you have really touched, and I'd like to connect with you. I'd love to work with you. Who are the people you help?
Yeah, I could break it maybe three big chunks. Yeah, obviously, neurodiversity is coming from my soul. I couldn't even deny it, could I? So I help families who have neurodiverse children or adults who have neurodiverse challenges. Yeah, this is one thing. The other thing is that what I've done with myself, and after that, I also did the same with other people successfully. This is how I call it soul harmony transformational coaching method. So, from that state that I am broken, I am not enough. So, a lot of people have already had some very, very difficult life challenges. When at a certain point they felt that the life just kind of broken them, if it makes any sense. Yeah. And from that point, to rebuild ourselves again, to figure out who we are, to get back our strengths, to find our purpose, and to go into that direction, now it could be very difficult. It requires an identity shift. So, this is what I've done with myself, and this is how also I help other people. A kind of identity shift and then empower them to get to their goal. Yeah. Now, the third thing is becoming an authentic life coach. So all of my courses based on psychology. We offer courses, internationally accredited life coaching courses in three levels: basic, professional, and master level. Now, my aim was to build up an ecosystem. So we are not just training or providing training for people who want to become life coaches, but back to the transformational coaching method, we first empower people who need it. Not everyone needs it, yeah? We empower people, then do the training. Students learn about psychology, people skills, which means coaching,
How
and
long does it take?
also, yeah, depending on the length of the training. Of course, the Essentials of Life Coaching course, this is a self-study course. It comes together with tutorial videos and workbook as well, almost 100 pages workbook. And also students get client-ready worksheets, which means that they don't need to figure out what to put in the intake form because they get it. The next step is, or the next level is the professional life coach course. This is a more comprehensive course in 178 pages workbook. But here students not only get tutorial videos, of course, longer tutorial videos and more tutorial videos, and the bigger package of client-ready worksheets, but also they get a Launchpad course with a workbook, Launchpad workbook, and also tutorial videos for the Launchpad. In addition, they also get automated business tools and also guide how to write a business plan, because in many cases people, well, most of us don't know how to write a business plan. But when we want to build up something and maybe we need money, we will need a business plan, because this is what bank wants to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that, we need a lot of things. And here is where business tools, automated business tools comes in. But even if someone doesn't want to apply for a loan, but can make a prognosis, financial prognosis using the automated business tools. Okay.
Yeah.
The next level in teaching is the Master Life Coach program. This is also a self-study course, 250 pages workbook, and it comes more tutorial videos. Of course, we dig deeper in every topic. This is a very highly comprehensive course, and students get a full client ready package, which means that they don't need to figure out anything regarding any topic. And this master course covers altogether 8 niche courses. So if someone is thinking to become a mindset coach or health and well-being coach, just or target coach, so these are the niche areas. This master course covers altogether 8 niche areas, and it also comes together with the Launchpad course. Yeah. Now, the first category is the Master Life Coach Mentor Program. The study material is the same like the self-studies course, Master Self-Study. However, the mentor program provides 9 months one-on-one tailored support with mentor. So whoever decides to start the mentor program, I start working with those people.
Okay.
We work together 9 months. We regularly meet in video calls like this. And the first 3 months is about learning. The next 3 months is about building up their own business plan. So to figure out what they want to do as a life coach. It's about planning. We're talking about the branding, the niche area, the financial stuff, how to schedule things, their own coaching methodology as well.
Okay.
And then in the last 3 months, we are doing the business launch. And also, what I really like in this course, apart from the fact that it is highly comprehensive and it provides so much support, that students also get a called master kit to their doorsteps, which contains this beautifully designed workbook, printed workbook, and also guided goal book or a business planner book and stuff.
Okay. Now, this is well put together, really, really impressive. And I think all of these things can also be found on your website. Now, if people want to connect with you on social media, where can they find you?
I think the best thing is if they visit my website, yeah,
Okay.
any of my websites, or they can find me on Facebook as Bernadett Bodrogi, or they can then find me on LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Okay. So what we are going to do, Bernadette, what we're going to do is we take the links of your social media accounts or your handles and also your websites, and we're going to put in the description of
Okay.
this podcast so that anyone that wants to connect with you, because you are obviously loaded. I didn't know that we've spent so much time already, and there's so much more I can see you want to share. I have a few questions that I would have loved to ask, but then we're out of time, but I have honestly learned a lot from you. Certain
Thank you.
that, yes, I have learned a lot from you. I have also been if there's a word like that, re-challenged, or I've been challenged again to go back and be more disciplined, have a plan, be more disciplined, find alternatives where there is need be. And we will talk some more to see the possibility of also working with you, because I'm really vested in this neurodiversity space because
Yeah.
of and I think I really need to do a lot more. And there are parents out there that I'm sure would benefit from the advice you've given thus far and would want to reach out to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your
Thank you for
insight.
the
Thank you for
invitation.
okay.
Thank you very much, Stallone.
All right. Okay then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.